I used to make rings on my drill press with my trim router mounted underneath. Then I got the idea to build this tabletop drill press so that I could mount it to my Incra LS positioner, and it'll give me all the repeatability, accuracy, and micro adjustment in order to make rings, and it works great. I already did a video on how to make this, and now I'm going to show you how this works to make rings. I've been playing around with this for about a month now. As you can see, it makes some really nice rings. And in this video, what I'm going to show you is how I made this ring right here. Step one is making a mandrel to the size of the ring that you want. Alright, the next step is we're going to size our mandrel, but before I do that I want to point out a few essential elements that you need in order to be successful making rings with this process. First is this Craftsman bimetal hole cutting bit. Rather than just chucking up my mandrel to the drill with the wooden dowel, I'm going to insert it in this Craftsman bimetal bit, and what that's going to do is give me repeatability. And you're going to need that because you're going to be chucking and unchucking this, and it's got to be perfectly seated each time, and you can't do that with a wooden dowel. Second is the bit that I'm using for my router here. This is a spiral downcut bit, and it works the best. I've tried the upcut bit, the spiral upcut. It produces a lot of tear out, and if you just use a regular straight cutting carbide bit like this, it's a disaster. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and start sizing our mandrel, and what we're going to do is start by moving this forward in 1/32 increments each time. Then when we get close, I'll switch over to using the micro adjust. Okay, so we're real close now, so I'm going to switch over to using the micro adjust knob. That's perfect. Alright, so now I got my ring size. I'm going to go ahead and zero everything. Without moving the positioner, I'm going to go ahead and move this measuring tape to put the 7 underneath the cursor, because we're making a size 7 ring. And all the cuts going forward we will reference off that 7. I'm also going to make a note of where a size 7 ring falls on this metal tape, because this one doesn't move. And for future reference, it'll make it easier when I want to make another size 7 ring. Now it's time to make the Bentwood laminated core of this ring, and I'm going to use cherry. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because there's a lot of videos out there on how to do this. This thin, original super glue in the disposable tubes that you get at Home Depot seems to work the best, and I've tried several different brands. You can tell I've done a few of these. Okay, so I've let this dry for 24 hours. Now it's time to size the inner laminated aspect of our ring. I've found that these rings are both comfortable and durable if the total thickness of the ring is about 3/32. So I want to make the inner laminated aspect of this ring half that, which would be 3/64. So first, I'm going to move the positioner from our 7, 3/32. Lock it down, and we're going to start making passes at this. Now this is the total thickness, total desired thickness of our ring. So I want half that. So what I'm going to do is use our micro adjust, and I'm going to make a pass here, then I'm going to dial a 64th, make a pass. Another 64th, make a pass, and then a final 64th and make a pass. And by doing that, we should be exactly perfect at a thickness of 3/64. So I don't even need to check it. I can just see that that's perfect. So now it's time to make our wood sandwich portion of the ring, which will be the outer portion of the ring. And I'm I'm not gonna get into how I made this because it's up to you to be creative and make your own and experiment with different types of woods. I'll glue these together. I've allowed this to dry for about 20 minutes, and then we'll just go ahead and glue our dowel rod in there. And we can use a wooden dowel for this because we're only going to be chucking it up one time. I'll tell you, when you're making your wood sandwich, as I call it, do not glue it up with wood glue. Use epoxy. Wood glue is too brittle and will cause a lot of tear out and shatter when you're milling it. Okay, now we'll chuck this up in order to hollow it out to this diameter. Make sure and get it good and tight. Adjusted the depth of my router bit so it just goes to the level of this pine here. So I've advanced it up to 6 3/4, which if you look at the width of our bit now, we should be right at the size of our mandrel we first made. So if I use my micro adjust and go 3/64 more than that, then we should be perfect. That fits perfect. Cut this off with a coping saw. The outer and inner portions of the ring are then glued together using 5-minute epoxy. I've given that epoxy enough time to dry, and it's time to shave down the ring to our final thickness of 3/32 using the same technique that I've already demonstrated to get the Bentwood cherry core to its final thickness. As I get close to the desired thickness, I take really thin cuts to try and avoid any tear out. There we go, now we're at our final thickness of 3/32, and again, I don't even have to check it. That looks perfect. Now you can start to see what the ring is going to look like. At this point, I'm going to get the final width of the ring. The bottom's going to be easy, I just use my spiral bit, but for the top, I have to lower my drill press, and I'm going to use this T-slot bit to trim down the top portion. Now I've moved over to the drill press, and we'll go ahead and shape it with sandpaper and put a few coats of super glue finish on there, and then we're just about done. We're going to go ahead and free the ring from the mandrel, and to do that we're going to get the drill press advanced close to 6 3/4 and then micro adjust by a few thousandths of an inch until we no longer see any of the white pine stuck to the cherry here. Now I'm going to need to wrap this with tape because there's nothing going to be supporting the ring after that, so the only solution I found to that is wrapping this with duct tape. We're within a few thousandths. looks like that did the trick. Look at that, perfect number 7. Now, I still got to clean and very sturdy. Still got to clean up the inside of the ring. And for that, I use this. I made this out of a champagne cork. All right, there's the finished ring after a little bit more polishing. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you go out and make your own beautiful rings. Post any comments you have in the comments section. Thanks for watching. I'll put you over here with your friends.